Jasmine Crockett took aim at Elon Musk on live TV, but when Karoline Leavitt fired back with a brutal reality check, Jasmine was left with no comeback. The tension in the studio was palpable as the cameras rolled on what was supposed to be a routine panel discussion about technology and its impact on society. The moderator, a seasoned journalist with salt and pepper hair and wire-rimmed glasses, had barely finished introducing the topic when the atmosphere shifted. Representative Jasmine Crockett and political strategist Karoline Leavitt sat across from each other, both women composed but with an unmistakable edge to their postures. "Let's begin with a topic that's been dominating headlines," the moderator said, his voice measured and calm. "The role of tech billionaires in shaping our digital landscape. Representative Crockett, would you like to start?" Crockett adjusted her microphone slightly, her expression serious as she leaned forward. "Thank you. I think we need to have an honest conversation about figures like Elon Musk, who I believe is dangerously overrated." The statement hung in the air for a moment before she continued, her voice gaining momentum. "What we're seeing is not innovation in the purest sense, but the purchasing of influence. When we examine his recent acquisitions and business practices, particularly with X, formerly Twitter, there's a pattern of buying power rather than earning it through genuine technological advancement." The moderator nodded, turning to Leavitt. "Ms. Leavitt, your response?" Karoline Leavitt straightened in her chair, a confident smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "I find it fascinating that we're questioning one of the few genuine innovators of our time. Elon Musk represents what America should celebrate: entrepreneurship, free speech, and the courage to challenge established systems." She paused, her gaze steady. "Much like President Trump, Musk understands that disruption is sometimes necessary for progress. What some call buying influence, others recognize as investing in the future of communication and technological freedom." The moderator sensed the brewing conflict and attempted to steer toward specifics. "Let's talk about X specifically. What are your thoughts on how the platform has evolved under Musk's ownership?" Crockett didn't hesitate. "What we've seen is a dismantling of safeguards that protected users from harmful content, all under the misleading banner of free speech. The platform has become less reliable, less responsible, and increasingly a megaphone for conspiracy theories." She shook her head slightly. "This isn't innovation. It's regression masquerading as revolution." Leavitt's expression remained composed, but her voice took on a sharper edge. What Representative Crockett calls safeguards, many Americans recognized as selective censorship. X under Musk has returned to its original promise, a true public square where ideas can compete fairly. She leaned forward slightly. "The elites were comfortable when they controlled the narrative. They're less comfortable now that ordinary voices have equal footing." The studio lights seemed to intensify as the discussion heated up. The moderator attempted to pivot. "Let's discuss AI regulation, another area where Mr. Musk has been vocal." Crockett raised an eyebrow. "Vocal, yes, but notably inconsistent. He publicly warns about AI dangers while simultaneously developing and deploying AI technologies through his companies." Her tone was measured but pointed. "This is characteristic of the contradictions we see in his approach. Alarmist in public statements, opportunistic in business practices." "That's an unfair characterization," Leavitt countered, her voice rising slightly. "Musk understands that technological development can't be stopped, but it can be guided responsibly. He's pushing for regulations while ensuring America doesn't fall behind global competitors. That's not contradiction, it's pragmatism." The conversation shifted to the influence of billionaires on politics, with both women growing increasingly passionate in their positions. "The concern isn't wealth itself," Crockett explained, gesturing emphatically. "It's the outsized influence that comes with it, especially when it's wielded to shape policies that benefit a select few rather than the majority of Americans." Leavitt shook her head. "That's the talking point we always hear, but it conveniently ignores billionaire influence that aligns with certain political agendas. The outrage seems selective." As the debate intensified, Crockett's frustration became more evident. If Elon is a genius, then Karoline is a rocket scientist. Just as fake. The comment landed like a thunderclap in the studio, drawing an audible reaction from off-camera staff. The moderator shifted uncomfortably, but before he could intervene, Leavitt leaned forward, her eyes focused intently on Crockett. "Social media gives people like you a voice. Elon gives you a voice," she said, her tone even, but forceful. "And now he's suddenly the enemy? This is what I find fascinating about the current discourse. The very platforms that amplified previously marginalized voices are now vilified when they don't exclusively amplify certain perspectives." The studio fell silent for a moment. The moderator looked between the two women, sensing a turning point in the conversation. "Could you elaborate on that point, Ms. Leavitt?" he asked. Leavitt nodded thoughtfully. "The technology sector has always been about innovation and disruption, challenging the status quo. That's precisely what Musk represents. He's made electric vehicles viable when the industry said it couldn't be done. He's revolutionized space travel when governments had all but abandoned ambitious projects. And yes, he's working to ensure that digital communication remains open to diverse viewpoints." She paused, gathering her thoughts before continuing. "We can have reasonable debates about regulation and responsibility. Those are important conversations. But dismissing someone as overrated when they've fundamentally transformed multiple industries suggests we're not evaluating the evidence objectively. Technology should transcend partisan politics. It's about progress, not party." The moderator nodded. "Representative Crockett, your response." Crockett appeared slightly taken aback by Leavitt's measured response, but quickly regained her composure. "Progress requires responsibility. Influence demands accountability. That's where I believe Mr. Musk falls short. It's not about partisan politics. It's about the fundamental principles that govern our technological future." As the segment drew to a close, viewers couldn't help but notice how Leavitt had managed to reframe the conversation, positioning herself not as a partisan defender, but as a reasonable advocate for technological progress and free expression. Her arguments hadn't been flashy or confrontational, but built on principles that resonated beyond political divides. The moderator thanked both participants as the production assistant signaled they were running out of time. "It seems we've only scratched the surface of this complex topic," he said. "Perhaps what we've learned today is that our relationship with technology and those who shape it remains one of the defining challenges of our time." As the camera stopped rolling, both women exchanged brief professional nods. The debate had ended, but the questions it raised about technology, influence, and power would continue long after the studio lights dimmed.